Hello and welcome to Southwest Now, the video magazine that focuses on the career and educational training opportunities at Southwest Tennessee Community College. Southwest is celebrating its 15th anniversary at a time when community colleges have hit main stage America, particularly because of the revitalization of manufacturing. Earlier this year, President Barack Obama proposed free community college access to all Americans during his State of the Nation address. And to trump that, last year, the Tennessee Promise was introduced. We're on location at the Ferris Administrative Building where we'll talk to Southwest President Nathan Essex about the renewed role of community colleges and the significant contributions Southwest has made to the Mid-South. Hello, Dr. Essex.
Good morning.
And
Brenda.
thank you for having us.
Our pleasure.
There is so much going on with community colleges right now, and they've hit main stage America, partially because of the revitalization of manufacturing. And then we have the Tennessee Promise, and that's been really, really hot around here. So let me ask you, has the role of community colleges changed recently?
I think the traditional role has remained the same in terms of access, affordability, but there has been, as you said, an increased focus on advanced manufacturing. And I think increasingly community colleges are viewed as the most viable source to address work skill areas at the national level, at the state level, and even locally. So from that standpoint, I think you're seeing a major shift in terms of the emphasis on workforce training. I think that's the change we're seeing, but traditionally we're still open access, we're still affordable, and that kind of thing.
So it's because of the workforce development and also, once again, the manufacturing, there's more emphasis, you're saying?
Absolutely.
Okay. Dr. Essex, 5 years ago in 2010, you and I sat down and we talked about the college and the merger at that time. Will you briefly just give us an overview of what that process was like?
The merger was an interesting process from the standpoint that neither institution supported it. It was legislatively mandated. We had a very short timetable in which to get it done. So consequently, it was left up to me to design the process. So we identified 7 teams covering academics, for an example, faculty governance, HR, facilities, and those kinds of things. And we, with the help of the 2 sitting presidents at each institution, individually recommended to serve on those committees. One person, if the chaired the committee from either institution, the other one co-chaired. So we had a balance in terms of leadership on the committees. We also enlisted the support of individuals from the community, from the University of Memphis, the business community, to serve on those committees. Essentially, I designed the activities that were necessary to complete the merger with timetables. We met on a consistent basis to assess progress, to determine what challenges we were facing, what adjustments needed to be made. If we reached an impasse, we had a process to resolve the impasse if the 2 groups could not agree. So overall, it was a very, very productive process, but it was real focus based on the time constraints that we had to get it done. So here we are, yes.
15 years later,
Yes.
and we're celebrating a 15th year anniversary. Now, at that time, you put together a strategic plan, which was called a blueprint for the future. And it's amazing that it was so well put together, I'll say. And when you look back over the years, you can kind of go down consistently and see the things that you decided were valuable to this community, those goals and objectives. They're still viable, should I say, and they were consistently met. So that's really amazing. Now, one of the visions was to become the community's college, a national model. What did that mean to Memphis and to the Mid-South?
Well, that meant that Southwest Tennessee Community College was being responsive to community needs. And essentially that's done through collaborations and partnerships. The extent to which we can meet the needs in this community, I think, speaks to the view that we wish to be the community's college. because we are community-based, we're not regional, we're not national. So our focus has to be on addressing issues and challenges that face our community. So the community's college is based on the premise that we are positioned to meet the growing diverse needs of a changing community.
Once again, as I said, those are the blueprints and the plans and the strategic plans, should I say, and all those goals and all those strategies that you all put together. I mean, they were very, very consistent. They were point on, should I say. What were some of those community needs at the time and some of the needs that we've had over your tenure?
Well, we had some real challenges with facilities. Our library was outdated. It did not have sufficient space to house volumes of books that were required by SACS. It obviously did not have the state-of-the-art technology, so that was a pressing need. And many may recall on this campus, on the Macon campus, we had portable buildings, a number of those. We had Jennings Parish that were not really suitable for academic purposes. So we were fortunate to receive state support to raise those buildings and to construct a new academic building that we have here today. That was a very, very significant move because it created a situation where we could meet SACS accreditation, but more importantly, expose our faculty and our students to state-of-the-art academic environment, which we think is essential to our focus on student success.
Absolutely, and bringing everything up to the 21st century. Now, speaking of facilities, Dr. Essex, your vision was amazing, and the campuses, they've grown immensely, and even when you look at our Southeast campus and downtown, talk about some of those other facilities and the expansions that you've undertaken.
When I arrived as president, we were leasing the Southeast Center on Mendenhall, and we were also leasing the Whitehaven facility. The state had expressed an interest in having all institutions own facilities. Essentially, they would be state facilities. So we set out to try to accomplish that. The Maxine Smith facility, a state-of-the-art facility that serves the Germantown, Collierville area, and even students from Fayette County attend that facility. And that facility really replaced the Southeast Center. Now, as you're well aware, the facility we're currently occupying on Director's Row is one that's not desirable in terms of meeting our growing needs. It does not have the state-of-the-art technology that we need. So we've purchased a facility on the Elvis Presley, and that facility is under construction right now with respect to major renovations that will allow us to better serve the students in the Whitehaven area, because the existing facility on Director's Row did not have bus transportation. It was isolated. So the Elvis Presley facility now, I think, will really allow us to provide access to students, because one of the issues with community college is access. That's why we have 6 locations, easy access, so the students can get to us as conveniently as possible and receive the best education that we can provide.
Absolutely, and the one on Director's Row, it was kind of difficult to get to. So
absolutely.
Now that moving into that new location should really, really be really fantastic for our students and also for the community. But I can't let you talk about facilities without talking about the new nursing building, which is really phenomenal. We had the nursing pinning last week, and the first time they've done that, which was outstanding.
It was.
And you were very involved in that process. Challenges, of course, but you took the lead on that. So can you talk about that a little bit?
Absolutely. And when I arrived, I was asked to go out and identify the nursing building, and I couldn't identify it. I had no idea where it was. And I was finally told to go across Linden and you'll find it there. And it was in a warehouse. And I was distressed when I saw that, because the nursing program, although we had had some challenges early on with that program, we were able to resurrect it. And the state was in process of taking the program down. And with our efforts, collective efforts, we were able to rescue that program, and we began to do really, really well in terms of NCLEX scores and things of that nature. For example, for 3 consecutive years, our students earned a 100% pass rate on the national certification exam, to the point that many four-year institutions were coming to Southwest to determine how we getting the results we were getting. So I was distressed to see our faculty and our students in that facility. Added to that was a view that many students came to my office in tears because they qualified for the program but simply could not gain admissions based on limited space. I felt like, from our standpoint, we needed to make the effort to try to change that scenario. Now, we knew we were not going to get any funding from the state, having gotten the Maxine Smith Center, the Library Media Center, the new academic building. So I took it upon ourselves to say, let's raise the money. And there was some apprehension because it's very difficult to raise money for bricks and mortar, period, but more challenging in Memphis based on the level of competition that we have here with four-year institutions, St. Jude, Labana, and those wonderful institutions. But I just felt compelled that we needed to make the effort to do that. So it was a vision I had that we've got to do whatever we can to ensure that to the greatest degree possible, we're going to be able to accommodate our students. And that's one of the proudest accomplishments I think we've had being here, and having that ceremony Friday night in that building was very, very special because it was the state-of-the-art facility, and it's going to allow us now to almost double the enrollment in that program. And as you well know, there will be a critical nursing shortage by 2020. And again, that's another example of our ability to respond to community needs.
And we had community partners who assisted with that.
Foundations, local hospitals, individuals. It was just phenomenal.
So it was a joint effort, and under your leadership, pulling the communities together to create that facility, which is really amazing. If people have an opportunity, they should really go by.
And as you well know, we received a Vision Award for that facility, just based on the aesthetics and what we replaced with a service station, a transmission shop, and a parking garage.
Looks different down there.
It does
now.
Look very different, absolutely.
It's very inviting, I'd say, as well.
And of course, the other part of that is we've experienced a significant problem with parking at the Union campus. And I think potentially that campus is poised to grow just based on its location. So we thought, again, that we needed to remedy that problem. During the chat sessions with students, one of the consistent issues that they presented to us was we have no place to park, we're getting ticketed on the streets. So we decided that here again we need to respond to that need. So a new parking garage will be under construction. They've broken ground, and we anticipate that project to be completed hopefully by October.
Oh, fantastic. Now, speaking of partnerships and being significantly involved with our community, the Industrial Readiness Program came about because of the fact that there was a dire need in the community, and you were approached. How do you solve this? So can you talk about that program?
Sure. The two mayors met with us in December. I think Kellen Hardy from Blue City Brewery was in that meeting, Senator Tate, and they expressed a concern.
And what year was that? Excuse me for interrupting. Was it, 2012?
2012.
2012, okay.
And they expressed a grave concern with their inability to attract and maintain industry because we did not have a skilled workforce. One particular industry had interviewed over 1,000 applicants and only identified 5 or 6 who had the skill level to meet their needs. So they asked us, what can we do? And in a very short period of time, during the month of December, in fact, right before the holidays, we developed the RT program. That's been a phenomenal program. We've graduated over 1,000 students in that program with about a 70+% placement rate. But and we're working with 12 companies as we speak, and that will be expanded with our new facility on this campus, the new industry and business and industry building on this campus. We'll be able to expand that program even more. But that's, again, another example of our ability to respond to the needs of the community. And that's been a phenomenal program. It's gotten national recognition. It's being replicated at the other 12 community colleges within the state. So it's been a phenomenal program in terms of serving the community. And it's twofold. One, to meet the demands of business and industry, but the other part of that is to allow individuals who are underemployed and unemployed to seek better jobs and have a better quality of life for themselves and their families.
So when you look at the Industrial Readiness Training Program and you think about the partnerships here in the city of Memphis and the Mid-South, the job opportunities that it's brought to our students, and one of the key things is a livable wage, and that is really major. You and I were talking right before we started about building that new center here on campus, and of course part of that is fundraising.
Sure.
So, and I knew early on that that was something that you considered when you took over, because there were needs here.
Right.
So can you talk about how some of those needs were met, some of the fundraising, maybe the grants? And
Sure. In the blueprint for the future, we had in there back in 2001 the need for a training facility. Now, we didn't know at that time how the emergence of workforce training would evolve, but since it has, we're in a position now to be able to address that. We were fortunate to receive funding from local foundations to support that. We received a federal grant of $904,000 to get that done, and we're in a position now to be able to construct that facility. We're programming it as we speak, and that's going to allow us to work in partnership with WIN, and we're going to also share space with TCAT, because one of the things that we really strive to do is develop a partnership with TCAT. We work together on a number of different initiatives. TCAT has a critical need for space, so there are some areas that we can collaborate on to better serve this community. So we're going to be able to share space with TCAT and WIN, where an individual can come to one location, be processed through the WIN requirements, and be able to enter the RT program in one location. We think that's going to serve our students very, very well, added to the fact that we have bus transportation out to the Macon campus. We chose this campus because many of the businesses and industry now would like to have their employees work toward associate degrees and or certificates. So the fact that our certificate program is on this campus, our technical degrees on this campus, it's an ideal location to have that facility here.
So when they start working toward that, the associate degree and the technical certificate, that moves us closer toward obtaining or realizing that drive to 55, which our governor has, I guess it was one of his visions.
Absolutely.
And with that, we got the Tennessee Promise, which brings me to that. How are we going to handle the influx of new students? Are we poised to bring students in and to prepare? Are we prepared to handle Tennessee Promise and everything that comes with it?
I believe we are, Brenda. We've been working for the last year and a half on our processes, trying to ensure that they are as efficient as possible. And we anticipated that we would have an influx of students. So I think from a process standpoint, and these students are different because when they come to us, we will know that they have met the requirements, as opposed to students who are not coming through the Tennessee Promise, meaning are late in terms of meeting their deadlines, and they create some challenges for admissions, for financial aid, because of the lateness in which they arrive. But these students would have already met those requirements prior to. So we're anticipating probably somewhere between 2,500 students who've already met those requirements, and I think we're geared up and excited to be able to serve those students.
Well, the whole nation is watching,
yes,
so
absolutely.
That's exciting. When we talk about community colleges, there are two main roads or inroads, that we look at. One of them is graduating and going on to a four-year institution, our transfer programs. And we work very, very, very closely with four-year institutions all across the state and even outside of the state, Mississippi and, in Arkansas as well. Alabama, which is where you're from.
Yes.
And we also have the other piece to that, which is, getting jobs. We prepare students to go into the workforce.
Right.
How successful have we been at meeting the employer needs, and how do we do that, and where are some of the places our students are going to work? Because we want to make sure that they get that livable wage.
Sure. Cook Systems International has a college career corps, and we met with them maybe 3 years ago, and they expressed a strong interest in having our students participate on technology teams, do real work at entry-level positions. And most of those students have been able to capture jobs with Cook. That's been a very, very strong partnership in terms of our capacity to do that. Now, of course, our overall placement rate averages about 88% right now. At one time, it was 92%. Our nursing students, 99% placement rate. So I think it speaks to the fact that we are producing students who are employable. One of the things that we attempt to do through our career services is to inform students on the prospect of positions in terms of their ability to find work, so that they know before they enter those fields what those statistics look like. And we think that's a reasonable thing for students to know, that if I enter this field, I've got an excellent chance, or I may not have an excellent chance of finding employment. So I think that's worked very, very well for us in terms of our placement rates, and I think it speaks to the fact that there is a demand out here for that. One thing I failed to mention, Brenda, that I think is very significant, that is GMAT. We're working in collaboration with TCAT, with Moretech, with Mid-South, in a collaborative where the CEO for GMAT will be working directly with businesses and industry to determine explicitly what their needs are. And they'll bring that information back to us so that we can ensure that our training programs and curricula will match up with those needs. And of course, Shelby County Schools will be involved in that process as well. It's a very strong collaborative designed to ensure that we are aligned properly with the needs of business and industry. And that's going to be a very exciting endeavor moving forward.
Sounds really exciting. Dr. Essex, the funding has always been a challenge. And once again, the money just has not always been there. And one of the things that Southwest did early on was to create the foundation.
Right.
Can you talk about that and how involved it was in helping to get funding for the nursing building? And right now we have a grant writing team as well. So what are some of the grants and some of the contributions that people in the community made to helping us meet that need that's out there here in our community?
Brenda, it's very difficult, as I mentioned earlier, to raise funds for bricks and mortar because people basically feel that the state should take care of that. But given our circumstances, we were compelled to branch out and seek to do it on our own. From a grant standpoint, this has been the most phenomenal 2 years that I've seen since I've been at Southwest. We've generated over $15 million in grants, and that is absolutely phenomenal. Karen Nippert and her people have done an incredible job of generating those funds for us to be able to focus on workforce training. That's the focus of it. But I think the combination of Foundation Board, the grants, the individuals, it's just been phenomenal in terms of assisting us in achieving our mission of serving this community in a more effective manner.
In 2010, Dr. Essex, you and I sat down and talked, and at the time you said, the future looks bright for Southwest. Very optimistic. In fact, you said, I'm very optimistic. And now that you've announced your retirement, what do you see in the future for the college?
I see excitement. I think Southwest will attract a very capable president with the Tennessee Promise being in place, and there's an adult component to that now that I think we'll be able to capitalize on. The fact that we can almost double the nursing enrollment, and we've had a long waiting list with that program. The fact that we'll have a new facility in Whitehaven that will be able to allow us to meet the needs in the Whitehaven community, and the ongoing efforts that we are making with retention. Retention is ongoing. That's a major challenge, as you well know, Brenda, that we have. But through our Academic Success Center, we're seeing some really incredible outcomes there. In our MOST program, incredible outcomes there. One of the things that we're going to be doing in the fall is starting learning communities, bringing students together in a cohort, because the research shows that that is an effective retention tool. And it'll be very diverse. We'll have an honors one, we'll have them done by majors, But there'll be a number of learning communities working with a team of faculty, and there'll be intense, intrusive advising and counseling and things of that nature, so that students get all the wraparound support that they need. And I think that's going to greatly enhance our retention moving forward. So given those developments, I think the future is very, very bright for Southwest. I'm very excited, and I'll be watching from a distance, but I'm very excited about that possibility.
Now, we've talked about a lot today, and there's so much that's happened over the 15 years. Tell us, what was your proudest accomplishment during your tenure as president?
The proudest accomplishment that I've experienced since I've been here is observing students who come to us low self-esteem, not sure they can get the work done, facing enormous challenges because many come by and discuss those with me. To see those students work through the challenges that they face, develop some confidence, and persist and graduate has been the most rewarding single experience I've had since I've been at Southwest. That's why graduation means so much to me. I get so excited because I know what challenges many of those students have faced just to be here. So that's the proudest moment I've had, to see those students succeed.
Well, we've looked at the significant accomplishments of the college and its impact on the Mid-South for the past 15 years. Now, what does the future hold for you, Dr. Essex?
That's a good question, Brenda. One, first and foremost, I'm going to spend time with my family. I haven't done as much of that as I needed to, just based on the demands of this position. So I want to spend some quality time with them. I belong to a church that has a very strong urban outreach mission. I want to get more involved with that because I'll have the time to do that. I have a neighbor who's encouraging me to come on the golf course with him, so I'm going to do that. I'll do some fishing. I'll do some traveling.
Oh, you fish.
And I'm going to continue to write. I enjoy writing, so I'll continue to publish articles in national journals just because I enjoy doing that, and they tend to make a difference in terms of informing educators on some of the issues and challenges that they face on a day-to-day basis. But basically, and I'll serve on two boards that have asked me if I would remain with them for a while. But basically, I want to do family, some leisure activities, some writing, and some traveling, and do all that I can to support this institution because I've been here 15 years. It feels like family to me. I love it. I'm very passionate about it. I want to see it do well.
Well, Southwest has truly become the community's college under your leadership. Congratulations on your retirement, and Godspeed on your future endeavors. We've been speaking with Southwest President Nathan Essex.
Thank you.
We've come to the end of this edition of Southwest Now. Southwest Now is a joint production of the Communications and Marketing and Multimedia Services and Digital Production Departments. I'm Brenda Rayner. We'll see you next time.